Good afternoon, everyone. Apologies for the slight delay in starting the webinar. I am Akshata and I am from the business team. I work as an identity security associate and I have my colleague with me, Mahesh, who is a senior access management specialist. And today we'll be talking about the Middle East digital vision with IAM and PAM solutions. We'll be starting off with a quick introduction to Mini Orange, and then we'll be talking about the massive digital transformation that is happening in the Middle East. Understanding what are the emerging security challenges with the upcoming digital evolution, what are the critical challenges in the banking, energy, and telecom sectors, which will be the highly impacted domains, how Mini Orange pitches the IAM and PAM solutions to cater to these security challenges and ensure that all of these challenges are being met with and the problems are being solved. Then we'll also be talking about our key differentiators in terms of the vendors out there and how Mini Orange caters to specific requirements differently and what are our key advantages. Then we'll be opening up for a quick Q&A session as well. So talking about Mini Orange, we have been in the identity and access management domain for over 13 years now, and we've served 25,000 customers across the globe from different regions, Middle East being one of our primary region of focus. We have worked with different regions, specifically in the Middle East as well, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, Saudi. So we have projects and references from different regions and domains. We have 6,000 plus pre-integrated apps catalog list to ensure that every sort of requirement or use case that has come up, we've catered to it in a different way and ensure that the challenge that has come up with it has been catered to with a unique integration and a customized solution. During the process, we've worked with 50 plus products, which include the identity and access management solution, privileged access management solution, some newer solutions like data layer protection, mobile device management, etc. Proud to let you know that we are a trusted vendor for some big brand names and some big customers and organizations in the Middle East. Some of them, to start off with finance and banking, you can see on the left, Public Investment Fund, Salama Insurance, NBB, ADNOC, NCT, then some government organizations like Dubai World Trade Center, General Entertainment Authority, then some other sectors like Al-Nadi Pharmaceutical Company. We have some more references like AWR Rostamani, Qatar Steel, Abu Dhabi Pension Fund, Qatar Al Husseini Trading. So all of this goes on to say that we have a story to tell in every region, every domain, right from finance, manufacturing, and various private sectors, public sectors. So we have a reference in each region and a different story to tell in each. We don't just have our customers talking about us. As you can see on the screen, Gartner Peer Insights Voice of the Customer Quadrant was also published for 2025. And Mini Orange has been acclaimed as a strong performer. And we're heads on with some big vendors, as you can see on the screen, like Okta, CyberArk, Ping Identity, Microsoft. So we have been emerging in terms of the features and functionalities that we provide, the customization, the support, and ensuring that we cater to the use cases with the right set of solutions. Why customers choose us? As you can see on the right, we've received the customer first batch from Gartner Peer Insights, which talks about the best estimated ROI, best support, our performance over the year, and we have also been ranked number 1 on G2. So this just goes on to say that Mini Orange has been highly rated for our IAM and PAM solutions. And Gartner Insights is also acclaimed us as an emerging leader. So having discussed who we are and what Mini Orange is, I think we can dive deep into the Middle East digital transformation. So what I mean by that is there are multiple futuristic plans that are being implemented currently in the Middle East, right from Saudi Vision 2030 to Qatar National Vision 2030, UAE Sentinel Plan, to Dubai being a global hub for trade, tourism, and finance. So all of these have a common goal, which is to build a world-class digital economy. So when we talk about a digital economy, it has 3 major pillars. which are to ensure that there's smarter cities, digital governments for instant online services, and a thriving tech sector for innovation and research. But at the crux of it is a digital identity. So any type of user, may it be a citizen, a government official, or a normal employee, any type of user will require an online presence or a digital identity. So think of a digital identity as a passport. It will ensure that it proves who you are. It will also grant you access to the right resources, and it will hold the permissions for which you have access to. Speaking about these kind of massive transformations that are happening in the Middle East right now, it will lead to emergence of new identities alongside the existing identities. So essentially, there will be an identity explosion, or something that we can also call as an identity sprawl. And managing these identities will become a huge challenge, which is something that we would like to highlight in this webinar. So essentially, there will be three main parameters when we talk about digital identities. So one will be management, the second will be protecting, and the third will be monitoring. So all of these three parameters become very crucial from a security standpoint to ensure that the new as well as the existing identities are being monitored, they are being protected, and along with that, they have access to the right resources, and the right person has access to the right resources. Having talked about these transformations and digital identities, we can now come to an understanding of what the scenario will look like in terms of the challenges that might emerge. So let's take an example of a bank. So if you have a contractor or an employee who's going to perform a specific task. So right from onboarding and ensuring that the access to the 10 applications he requires are given to him. And in case you provide, since it is a manual process, someone does provide excess access to him. And after leaving the organization, you remove the access to the 10 applications, but you forget to remove the access for one critical database. That creates a ghost account and a backdoor for data breaches, for attackers to enter your organization's critical data. So all of these become a threat in terms of access to your sensitive information and your organization. And it can actually lead to immense business loss and financial impact. Coming to the point where accidentally, if you do provide someone access more than what is required, then a single stolen password can lead to access to your sensitive data and the admin accounts, which become crucial in scenarios where they have access to the critical resources like your servers, databases, or any other critical systems of your organization. Governing those accounts becomes a crucial security challenge. So ensuring that those accounts are being monitored, what activities are being performed by those accounts, and ensuring that the commands are being restricted only to the level that they require to execute their activities is something that becomes a security challenge. So all of these together become factors or parameters that become threats to an organization and have severe security impacts. So in these scenarios, let's talk about the industries which are emerging and will be highly impacted and have critical information or sensitive data. The first being finance and banking, where there will be immense mobile banking users. And if they don't have access and if they're not protected, then the high value transaction frauds can increase and can be a huge financial loss for an organization or a bank. Then implementing the correct data and access controls like SAMA, PCI, DSS, and ensuring that the organizations are compliant with it. Then the second being energy and gas, where the access to industrial control systems, managing third-party access and remote access to IoT devices. If they're not managed properly and if they're not taken care of properly, then it can lead to massive shutdowns. We talk about telecom and IT, protecting the subscriber data or sensitive data of the subscribers and ensuring that the access is being controlled for complex networks. Otherwise, Again, here as well, it can lead to widespread outages, and the admin accounts are critical in these such scenarios where if they're being hacked, the users can get access to sensitive data of the subscribers. So all of this just helps us understand that there are certain challenges in every organization, in every industry, that comes along with the rapid digitalization, right? And here in Mini Orange, we are trying to solve these challenges and provide solutions in the most appropriate and uh, catered to specific tailored way. Let's understand one case study where Mini Orange has implemented our IAM solution. So Al-Nadi, a leading pharmaceutical chain with over 6 million users, has a Siebel CRM, and the challenge that they were facing is that they wanted to enable seamless login to their e-commerce store. They wanted to ensure that their customer data or the personal identifiable information was protected, and all of their existing systems and data sources were in line and were integrated with a single sign-on solution. So how Mini Orange solved these challenges is that even though Siebel CRM does not innately support any SSO protocols, we ensured that we provided a custom solution with the help of connectors, and we integrated with their existing data source as well as the applications, ensuring that they can utilize a unified single set of credentials to access everything at once. And at the same time, it reduced the burden of having multiple passwords and managing them. And in the future, if there were any other applications or any other CRMs or resources that they wanted to integrate, then that is also a highly scalable option. So here with Mini Orange, may be your legacy systems, there'll be seamless integration, and we ensure that the tailor-made solution is being delivered. And Al-Nadi is one of the examples of how we've enabled a particular solution for one of our customers. So having discussed the security challenges, we'll jump off to a quick round of polls, and then I will hand it over to Mahesh to take forward with the rest of the identity and PAM solutions. So you will see a short poll on your screen. Please do engage and please do vote for the various options that are available and what is your biggest authentication challenge. All right. Thank you for your polls. Over to you, Mahesh, for the rest of the IAM and PAM solutions.
Okay. Thank you, Akshata, for this lovely introduction about all the digital transformation that is going on in the entire Middle East. You highlighted the paths like the Saudi vision, the UAE 2030 vision, and you touched base the key points related to the security challenges that will follow these kinds of visions, right? And obviously having that example of how we have taken measures, how we have helped some of our customers stay ahead in this security competition, make sure that their data is safe, their accounts are safe, their identities are safe. So that is a crucial factor that you touched upon. So in terms of all of these things that comes with the rapid digitalization, I wanted to highlight on what roadmap should an organization follow in terms of making sure that their organization is compliant and up to the mark with all the security challenges that they might face. As you know that the hackers are getting innovative, the hackers are going in much higher speed compared to what organizations are going in. So these are the crucial steps that any organization needs to take. So starting from our portfolio, which is an entire access management solution. So we start right from your workforce, which includes all of your employees, and it extends to your consumers. It can be your consumer, third parties, vendors, contractors, anyone apart from your employees, and your privileged users. So the primary functionalities that we provide here are single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, user lifecycle management, adaptive authentication, and many more. So we are going to dig deep into each of these functionalities as we move forward. But all of these functionalities can be hosted or deployed in multiple different types of architectures. You can have it 100% on-premise now because of regulations, data privacy, and many more different acts. A lot of customers have a requirement that their data should stay in their intranet inside their organization. That's the reason why we have the 100% truly on-premise solution. Then we have multi-tenant cloud as well as cloud hybrid. So you can use it as a SaaS offering. You can host it on your own VPC. On the right hand side, I have mentioned a couple of key applications here because these are just some of the applications where Mini Orange has very tight integrations and we are a marketplace leader on these platforms. So the point that I mentioned, that a typical roadmap of how an organization should look towards security looks something like this on a very high level. It starts with single sign-on, then it moves on to multi-factor authentication. It extends with adaptive authentication, and it combines everything with user lifecycle management. So the first piece here is to start from single sign-on, and as the name suggests, single sign-on means you need to have single set of credentials to access all your applications. Now, what happens in a lot of organizations, if they have 500,000 employees, they have 20 applications, they are eventually managing 20,000 different set of credentials. And I am sure that the attendees of these webinars also might have written their username passwords in a sheet, in a notepad, somewhere or the other. So these are very standard practices because managing those kinds of credentials is a difficult thing to do, especially when you are occupied with a lot of different activities. So this is the place where single sign-on comes into the place. You'll be accessing all your applications with only one set of credentials. And how we differentiate is that we can integrate with any cloud, on-premise, legacy, in-house, thick client, mobile, any kind of application that you have in your infrastructure, in your engine can integrate with that. Okay. So the first problem that it solves here is that it is going to create a centralized system. The problem where you had 10, 15 different passwords you used to keep on forgetting, you ask your admin team to reset the passwords, all those are eliminated. And you have a unified login process. So here we support all standard protocols like SAML, OAuth, OpenID, JWT. But this is not limited to it. We have connectors for all your in-house applications. So let's say your applications are built in .NET, Java, PHP, who inherently do not support any standard protocols. So for those, we have connectors available. And for all your legacy applications out there, which are from Oracle, from SAP, your Microsoft Dynamics, SharePoint, all those applications, we have unique connectors as well as access gateway solutions, which are proxy solutions. So the whole point of having single sign-on from Neorange is that it is going to cover each and every application that you have in your portfolio. Because if you are not doing that, it there is no sense of having single sign-on if you're not integrating each and every application. So this is the point where single sign-on becomes a crucial factor and how Mini Orange does solve that. Now, in the recent times, there has been a lot of talks about passwordless authentication. So if you just simply eliminate the requirement of passwords, right? There is no need of the users to write down the password or remember the password because simply the passwords are not there, right? So this enhances your security. Obviously, it improves your convenience by a huge margin. And all you have to do is just remember the username and have your multi-factor, your mobile phone. Mobile phone, you carry it everywhere. or you can use additional phishing resistant mechanisms like FIDO2 supported devices or hardware tokens or multiple more methods. So I'll discuss that once we move forward. So yes, passwordless authentication you can enable on each and every step of your authentication, whether it be your Windows login or your application login or anything. Coming to the second step of my roadmap, which is multi-factor authentication, also called as two-factor authentication. This is one of my most crucial steps because my first step was more about centralizing everything, making sure that you have only one set of credentials to access all your applications. Once you do that, now my users can access everything very seamlessly, but I need to make sure that these logins are secure as well. So for that, we have multi-factor authentication, and our solution is holistic. What I mean by that is it acts on three different layers of your organization, starting from your network layer, wherein you have switches, routers, VPN, firewalls. All of these networking devices will be protected with MFA. Coming down to the second step, which is your application layer, wherein you might be using your CRMs, emails, ERPs, or any application that you use in the organization. Each and every application will be protected with MFA. And then coming on to your OS layer, wherein you are protecting your switches, your desktops, your Windows logins, your RDP logins, SSH logins. So you see, each and every different type of user, wherever he or she is accessing from, if he's accessing it locally from the office for Windows login, RDP application access. If the user is in a remote place, the user is accessing through VPN, he or she will be protected with MFA. So the whole point being that the entire perimeter of the organization is secured with a single multi-factor authentication. So it simply becomes easy for the admin to manage and for the end users to use. They don't need to have different applications. Admin don't need to have different dashboards to manage everything. They have a complete visibility of who is accessing what at what time and which applications. Okay, so you see, MFA is a crucial part of each and every compliance, and having MFA is like a building block of your security posture. Now, said that, once you have MFA, adaptive authentication is an extension to your standard MFA. So this is restriction based on conditional policies. Now, these policies can be based on multiple different factors. The factors like your device, the IP, the location, as well as the time. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. If I talk about device restriction, all my users can access only from company-owned devices or company-provided devices and not from their personal devices. So you can set up policies that my critical applications can be accessed from company-owned devices, and my generic applications, I am okay if they access from their personal devices, right? Similarly, they cannot access their personal email on their company-owned devices and many more such use cases. IP restriction, my users can access only from trusted IPs, which is my office IPs. They cannot access from any public IP. Similarly, location restriction, all of my users can access only from the kingdom, only from KSA, or only from UAE. As soon as they leave the region, the user will not be able to access. And similarly, time of access. So you can utilize all these policies in any kind of combinations that you want to create to make sure that you have a utmost security posture according to your business needs. Right. So all these policies can be tailor-made, fine-tuned to make sure that it makes a optimal strategy for your organization. Also, one thing I wanted to highlight before I actually move on to the next part is on your screen, you'll also see an option wherein you can raise questions. So obviously we have a special dedicated Q&A session at the end of the presentation, but if any question just arises in your mind, feel free to drop that question in the Q&A section, and we'll make our sure to answer your questions to the fullest. So moving on to the next part after adaptive authentication is user provisioning, deprovisioning, also called as the user lifecycle management. So let me tell you what happens in a orthodox environment whenever there is a new user who joins the organization. There is an admin person or HR person who has to manually go and create the user in all the target applications. He might have to inform the application owners or the admins to create the user. Any information change, department change, he has to again inform, and he has to update it in all the applications, and similarly when the user leaves. So this process, first of all, is very time consuming. It is human dependent and it is prone to a lot of errors. So we have often seen cases wherein the user left the organization, but still he had access to one application of the previous employer. And when we actually did that discovery, what we found out was that the application owner just forgot to remove that user. So this actually creates entry points for all the malicious users, and this is a major security flaw. This entire thing can be easily avoided by having a user lifecycle management process, which completely automates the joiner, mover, leaver lifecycle in your organization. What it does is that we predefine some policies in Orange, which can be based on the role, the department, the organization, the group, or anything. So what you do is IT team does access application A, HR team application B, uh, finance team application C, whatever policies you want to define. As soon as you define your authentication source and create a user in your HRMS, or you just onboard your user, you assign a role or the designation to that user, and based on the defined policy, the user will be created in my target application. Now, first thing that it makes sure that the user is created in an automated way and instantly. He does not have to wait to get started to work. The second point is any edit or update operations that happen, those are also synced automatically. And the third and most crucial point here is that the user only gets access where he or she is required to, according to the department. Obviously, on top of that, there are additional workflows wherein a user can request access for additional applications, which comes as a part of our workflow engine. So some additional functionalities that you can see here in user lifecycle management are related to real-time sync. There are scheduled syncs, there is self-registrations, there are password resets. So basically we can connect to any of your HRMS system. We can have a complete automated flow of how the user onboarding should happen, how the user must authenticate himself, and what are the applications that a user can access once he logs in. Okay, again, you will see this being one of the most crucial points of SAMA compliance, NCA compliance, NESA compliance, or any other compliance that you see. And this is not only about compliance, but this is about your daily activities that you do in the organization, and making sure that each and every activity, each and every login is secure and authorized. So basically, this roadmap, which I started from single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, adaptive authentication, and user lifecycle management. This creates a ideal backbone for the security posture in your organization, right? Couple of key differentiators which I would like to highlight as to why Mini Orange is different compared to some other vendors out there in the market is first because of the flexibility. Okay, we make sure that our solution fits your organization. We will not ask you to change your infrastructure or change your processes to use our solution. We'll make that customization, or we'll tailor made the solution to fulfill your requirements. We can automate all of these processes. We have support for schemes, APIs, webhooks, connectors, making sure that there is no loose point left in the organization that cannot be integrated. There is 360 MFA security, which I mentioned, your application layer, network layer, OS layer, each and every layer you're protecting for all different kinds of users. And the SSO is without limits, right? Each and every application, legacy, in-house, custom applications. And all of these things are enterprise grade identity access management solutions, which we are providing at very cost effective solutions. Okay, we have a team of more than 800 engineers working 24 by 7. So each and every of our customer gets 24 by 7 support at a very cost effective price. Now, I also wanted to highlight on the CIM part of the organization. So all the things that I mentioned till now, it were towards securing my employees. But in a lot of domains, in a lot of industries, there are public facing applications as well, where you have to manage the public's information, where you have to make sure that the authentication authorization of my end users or consumers is secure, is their data secure, are they having a seamless experience, and many more. So we provide CIM functionalities from the same console, wherein you get features like social login. Your users can log in from any providers like LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, or any other social providers. There are passwordless logins. There is progressive profiling. You might have often seen in a lot of applications that you don't need to enter the entire information in the first go itself. As and when you proceed, navigating in the applications, it will ask you to enter the additional details. So those kinds of functionalities, user analytics, behaviors, user account takeovers, sync management, profile fields, consent management, your authentication using digital identities like UAE Pass, Qatar Pass, all of those integrations are pre-built within the solution itself. So this is one of a kind solution where you can manage your workforce, wherein you can manage your consumers and all different types of industries or identities associated with the organization. All these points covered each and every type of my users. But then there are these specific users who have access to the critical data of my organization. These are called as my privileged users, and that's the reason we have the PAM solution, right? The privileged access management. What PAM does, it manages, it mitigates, it maintains. What does it manage? It manages all your critical assets. Anything where you have critical data, critical information, it is going to manage it. It reduces security breaches, it reduces your security risks, and it maintains your regulatory compliance. This is what a PAM solution is used for. And for the users who have access to your critical databases, your servers, your assets, your critical web applications, all of those things you can manage using the PAM solution. And what is different from IAM and PAM are these functionalities, starting from having a password vault. So all your credentials are stored in a secure vault. Any of the users are not going to know the actual credentials of your assets. What the users do is they access using the PAM credentials, and from there simply they get a browser based access. They are not knowing the direct credentials of my assets. Now, once they access anything that they do on my server, on my database, it is going to be audited, as well as each and every session is going to be recorded. So as an admin, I can always go and view the real-time sessions. I can view the recordings. I can search in the recordings. I can have alerts for my recordings. And for deploying this PAM solution, it is completely agentless. So it just reduces your complexity by a huge margin. Then we have endpoint privilege management. So it is not only securing your servers or databases, but your endpoint devices as well. Then followed by privileged account discovery. Now this is mostly related to how you onboard a PAM solution. If you have 20 different databases, you have hundreds of servers. Adding those things manually is not someone wants, right? So for that, we do account discovery, which can be based on the domain or the IP address, which is going to auto fetch all the assets that you have in your domain or in your IP range. And from there, simply you can configure those. Followed by JIT privileged access. So there is a concept called a 0-day access. What happens on 0-day is all of my users have access to nothing. So the concept says that if any of my user needs access to any of my resources, that user needs to request for that, the admin will approve, and then only the user can access it. So on these workflows, you can approve based on the sessions, based on the time, based on the activity, and multiple other factors. And last but not the least is the granular access control. So what I mean by that is you can define what my user can do on each and every asset. So to give you an example, let's say I have a database. I can define a role that these set of users can run only select commands on my database. These set of users can run a update or alter command, and these set of users can run a drop command. Okay, that level of access control based on command level restrictions I can enforce using a PAM solution. So this becomes really crucial for my critical users to be monitored, to have a complete visibility, to have a session recording, and to know which user is doing what on my critical assets. Because if you are going to directly give the credentials of your assets, you will never know what that user did on your critical assets. So this is the reason why PAM has become a crucial aspect of your security posture and a must-have solution for each and every organization with this rapid digitalization. So again, I wanted to highlight on why our PAM is different compared to any other PAM solutions out there. So the first point here is our PAM is thick client ready. So any thick client applications that you might be using, or any thick client for databases like your Oracle Todd, SQL Studio, any applications that you have, we have integrations with those. Our PAM solution is also tailored according to your requirements. It can be fine-tuned, customized to suit your environment. It is completely agentless, and obviously all of the portfolio that Orange is carrying, it comes at a very cost-effective pay-as-you-go model. So these kind of flexibility, offering this kind of security is not matched anywhere else. And we also have a lightweight PAM. So often customers do need these PAM solutions for compliance requirement, and they don't want it to be heavy on their pocket and heavy to use as well. So for those customers, we have the lightweight PAM, and then we have the granular web app access as well. So you can fine tune your access permissions for all your web resources. These are some of the major points which distinguish our PAM solution compared to anything out there in the market. So again, there is a small poll, a quick poll for everyone out there. So you'll see this poll on your screen. All you have to do is just select the most suitable option according to your requirements, your problem statements. So I'll give you 1 minute just to answer that poll. This has been amazing. We've got a lot of responses on the polls, and I see people very much interested in all different kinds of solutions because the major USP of Mini Orange as an entire offering is that we understand that there are different types of customers and each customer is at a different level of security posture. So let's say you do not have anything implemented in the organization at this point. There is an entire portfolio that Orange can offer and make sure that you're compliant and up to date with all the security measures. If you're already having a security posture, that is the perfect thing that any organization should begin with. But I'm sure there are some gaps that needs to be fulfilled, some areas that might have been missed, and that is the point where Mini Orange can help you fulfill those additional integrations or bring all those endpoints and loose ends together and make a robust portfolio for your organization. So as I mentioned, these are the USPs that we have. We have a lot of tailor-made solutions. All of these features, functionalities can be fine-tuned to exactly match your organization, your user behaviors, and make sure that it is very easy and highly available. We have 24 by 7 support, as I mentioned. You get a dedicated account engineer, technical engineers, more than 800 engineers working, and competitive pricing. So, with all of these revolutions going on across the world, saving costs has been a crucial factor in each and every region, in each and every continent, in each and every city. So that is the pain point we are solving, providing highly secure solutions, highly technical solutions at a very cost effective range. So thank you once again for being very patient and listening out all the different aspects right from the start of the digitalization, the security challenges, our offerings, and how our solutions do help with different challenges that come with the modernization. Okay. So these last 15-20 minutes we are keeping open for the Q&A. Okay. Feel free to put all your answers in or all your questions in the Q&A section on your screen. You can always reach out to the email ID that you see on the screen. You can schedule a dedicated demo. You can share your requirements, pain points with us, and we'll be more than happy to have a one-on-one personalized consultation as well as a demo which is customized for your requirements. We can schedule for a POC according to your requirements. So I already see a lot of questions have been asked in the Q&A. Sorry. So I'll just start answering the questions. one by one according to the sequence that we received those questions. In the meantime, if anyone else has questions, just feel free to dump those in the Q&A section. So the first question we have is for organization using conditional access policy. Okay. So as I mentioned that there are multiple different conditional access policies based on the IP, based on the device, the location, time of access. You can use all those policies. You can assign different policies for different application access and make sure that the logins are working according to your security requirements. So the next question is for routers and switches. Does it also provide functionality to restrict privileges, assign only certain commands? Yes, absolutely. So in the cases of routers and switches, we do the integration using TACAX protocol. Now, once we are having this integration, there are 15 different privileges that you can offer and define for your access. So these privileges can be based on the commands. So what all commands your users can do, and for every user you can maintain if what privilege level you want to give to your user. So to answer your question, yes, you can have restriction for commands on different or up to 15 levels. The next question is passwordless. Is how exactly do you send one-time code for login? Yes. So how passwordless works is you might have seen or use a system wherein you just enter a username, you receive a code. It can be through your SMS, email, or we can use a magic link. Okay, there are multiple options in passwordless as well. So for you can use any of these options. You just enter your username or you enter your email, you receive the OTP or magic link, and from there you can access the system. So basically you can enable passwordless for your Windows login, for your application login, for your end user facing applications as well. So the next question is regarding how is ULM different than managing user identity in AD, as most auth would be tied to AD identity of user? That's a very good question because a lot of organizations are using Active Directory, and understanding that how the ULM adds an additional layer on top of AD is very crucial. So in Active Directory, all you can do is give the profile fields, additional details, manage the username and password. But in Active Directory, you cannot really manage that what level of permissions the user can have in the application, which user can access which application, and which user can not access which, any specific applications, right? So what we do is create an integration with your AD, and all you need to do is define a designation or role in the AD. And based on that role, user will have access to only the right set of applications, which you cannot manage entirely using only Active Directory. And Active Directory, as the name suggests itself, it is only a directory. It cannot do the authentication, authorization, the policy management, and all additional functionalities which an identity provider can do for you. The next question we have here is, where is the support center based out of? Is it local? So the entire R&D team is based out of India, but we have a very strong partner ecosystem in UAE, KSA, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain. We have local partners who can do the implementation, the support, and any presentations that are required. The next question we have is for the licensing for CIM. Okay, so the CIM, it is licensed based on slabs. So what information we need is the approximate traffic the website is going to see. Let's say your website might have 30 to 40,000 registrations in a month or 30 to 40,000 visitors in a month. So we can define a slab and the pricing is based on the slab. Opposed to what happens in IAM, which is based on definite user count. Okay. Next question we have here is for customization is covered with support or only PS. So customization would be a part of the PS. Now it depends on what level of customization, what kind of customization you're looking for. But yes, it will be a part of PS. Which solution is replacement of VPN for PAM? So PAM is not actually a replacement for VPN because what a VPN does, it just creates a secure tunnel to get in your company's network, and that's all. What PAM does is, first of all, password vaulting, and it does session monitoring, session recording, fine-grained access control. Okay, all of these functionalities are much more than what just a VPN does, because a VPN just helps you connect to your network. But what you're doing after connecting to your network, uh, what kind of commands or what kind of restrictions you have, what all assets you can access, all those things are defined using a PAM solution. So PAM is not a replacement for VPN. It is much more than what a VPN can do. And to be honest, the problem statements for VPN and PAM are slightly different. But yes, a combination of VPN and PAM solution according to the requirements is what we can say would be the best practice. So there's one more question. What is Magic Link? Okay, so Magic Link is, you might have seen that you go on a website, users enter your email, then you receive a link on your email address. You just simply click on that link and you access the application. Okay, so this makes sure that your login experience is much more smoother and easier using Magic Links. So instead of having like a OTP on your email, one more screen where you enter the OTP, all you have to do is go to your email and click on the link. And then it authenticates on your behalf and you get access. So these are just some amazing questions. Again, if any of your questions have not been answered here, feel free to reach out to us on IDP support @ securify.com, which is XECURIFY.com, or else you can always visit our website, drop in a query, schedule a demo. You can sign up on our website for a free account, which is a 30-day full-fledged free trial. You can try out all the use cases, each and every functionality that we mentioned during the presentation. You can try that out. And again, if you want a personalized demo, we'll be more than happy to schedule a one-on-one personalized demo for you. All right, I still see that there are a lot of questions coming in. I'll quickly answer those. In PAM, does it do video log the session? Yes, it video logs the session. Unique factor here is that these recordings are compressed in a very unique format. So these recordings cannot be viewed from any another player. It can be viewed only from the PAM solution, and it is not going to consume much of your disk space. Yes, the sessions are video recorded. You can view the sections at any point of time. You can search for specific commands and you have an audit of every command. Next question we have is, how is passwordless licensed? Is it also offered for CIM? So passwordless is offering for both IAM as well as CIM, and the licensing remains the same, because all the licensing is based on either the user slab or your employee count. So the licensing remains the same. Passwordless is just a different policy that you apply on top of your authentication. Hope I am able to answer all these questions. And again, you can always reach out to us if any of your questions are unanswered in the webinar. We have one additional question in PAM. We can we create a user group, or is it only possible from ADIM? Yes. So you can manage your users and groups locally in the PAM solution as well. And if you want, you can integrate with the AD or IAM as well. So it is completely flexible. You do not need to integrate with IAM AD. You can manage it locally from the PAM solution. But if you already have your AD or IAM, and if you want to manage it centrally from there, then you can do that as well. So we'll keep this Q&A session live for the last 2 minutes. Feel free to provide as many questions as you have. Any problem statements that your organization is facing, feel free to drop in an email to us. Feel free to let us know your feedback about the session. Also, if you have any recommendations that you would like to see from our team, any topics that you would like us to cover for the next webinar, for the next session, we are more than happy to get all the inputs from your side. So we'll keep this live for the next 1 minute. Any questions unanswered, you can mail us to idpsupport@securify.com. And I hope this webinar has added a lot of more information. It has given you a lot more insights and help you make right choices in terms of security for your organization. And we would be glad to help you address any security challenges that you face regarding your access management for your consumers, employees, privileged users, or anything that you come across. Thank you once again for being very patient, and I hope you like the webinar. So we'll be closing this. I hope everyone has a great day. Have a great week ahead, and see you all in the next webinar. Thank you from the entire Mini Orange team. Have a great day. Bye.